Because my family is from Baghdad, I remember very vividly, and because I heard in my childhood oral narratives coming out of A Thousand and One Night that my grandfather used to tell me, and so of course the word Baghdad for me registered immediately right away. And so, in a sense, the stories about Baghdad that I grew up with, I was looking at this film as a child, and on one level, the stories seemed to be familiar. At the same time, I think I was seduced by the American protagonist. So there was this notion of familiarity, but also alienation, because of course they were not Baghdadis. Not only they did not speak Arabic, it had very little to do with the Baghdadi world that I knew. So there was a kind of alienation, even though it was very seducing. To believe in those images of Baghdad and in those fairy tales. As I grew up and started writing about Orientalism and about the whole question of self-colonization, I think The Thief of Baghdad actually was my paradigm to understand what does it mean to be colonized. Because I remember also talking to my father and asking him, when you saw this film in Baghdad, which he saw, The Thief of Baghdad, in the 40s, I know that when Latin Americans saw some of their images of Latin America coming out of Hollywood, there were protests. Do you remember protests in relation to these films coming to Baghdad? He said, no, I don't remember. Did you like it? Yeah, I loved it, he said. And didn't you find it offensive? He said, no, because we understood it had nothing to do with us, but it was a fun, entertaining fantasy, but for us it was America. So in a sense, The Thief of Baghdad, as much as can be thought as, okay, it's America, it's not really Baghdad. But yet when I show it to students here, of course this is the image of the backward Baghdad, where presumably the real and the fantasy intersect with each other. So I try to, one of the concepts that as a teacher I try to, okay, you know what the term surrealism mean. You can think of A Thousand and One Night as a surrealist or magic realist series of stories, magic realism or surrealist stories where the real and the fantasy, it's not because people in the Middle East have this Arab mind that cannot separate the real from the not real, but because those are folk tales, just as you have Greek mythology or you have contemporary stories which imagination plays an important role.